money is a fascinating thing too. It's part of that emotional DNA. And so it's really all about, yeah, you inherit that stuff and it's there for a reason. It's trying to say to you, please let me be all that I'm supposed to be. And that's in your hands.
Wait. Okay, so that just finally connected because when you said money's inherited, that DNA, that pattern, it's so true in my case because there was so much scarcity. There was my dad, it was always like, we don't have any money, we don't have any money, we don't have any money, we don't have any money. So we never had any money. In whether we did or we didn't have any money.
You didn't have any money. Yeah,
and that
exactly
was
right.
that was all I heard. That was all I understood.
Yeah.
Now, they had money. They had some, but they just had to keep saying they don't have any because they needed to squirrel away whatever they had to make sure they could provide. So whatever I wanted, I couldn't have because it was
We
not.
don't have any money.
It was
Your
not a
systemic
need.
sentence. Boom.
Yeah, it wasn't a must. And so in my adult life, I mean, and I made a tremendous amount of money. I didn't have any money.
I love that you said that. It's the most beautiful example of that because here's the deal. If you've had that imprinted on your patternology that comes all the way through, you could have millions in front of you and you will still not be able to see it or accept it, and you won't be able to see the money opportunities because we don't have any money. And we're so loyal to those patterns subconsciously that until we become consciously aware and then go, wait, this is not working for me, it keeps echoing through.
Yeah. Well, and it's fascinating because it makes no sense. An outsider would look in and be like, she's crazy. But I was so afraid. And it was when we worked together. And I remember you teaching us to say, I love money, because we were scared even to think that that was okay, because that made us a bad person to want more.
Absolutely.
And all of that. And so I remember that vividly. And from then on, I really started to change my relationship with money. I was like, no, I deserve this. I'm working hard and I want more, and I'm okay with that. And so I also have like shifted my meditations to, I want to work as little as possible and make the most amount of money.
Yeah. And you know, the beautiful thing about money is for many of us, I won't say for everybody, but for many of us, when the money comes, what do you want to do with that?
I like to save it and spend it. It's a little bit of both.
And share it. So that it's the save, spend,
Oh shit.
share.
Yeah, the share part too, guys. Sorry.
But we do that. The more that we have, the more we breathe and the more we're able to share. And so it grows, and money likes to grow around people who like it. It will show up for you the way that you show up for it. And I think the most important thing about money is it is not a commodity. It is a relationship. The way you show up for it is the way it will show up for you. So for you, it was, we don't have any, we don't have any, we don't. It was ducking and diving and coming in with, we don't have any. Yeah.
So how do you explain the fact that I've made a tremendous amount of money throughout my lifetime and still carried that belief?
Because you're being loyal to the system, and we're very loyal to our family system. So we will find a way to be in truth with that, as well as what we want to do. For you, the bridging sentence may well be, we don't have money to waste, or we have lots of money, but we don't have money to waste. It's something that'll keep.
Well, if you think about it, what did I just say earlier? It was, they had it, but we couldn't, nothing was a must, nothing was a need.
Exactly.
And so for me, I would get to the place, I've told this before, I wouldn't even buy a water at 7-Eleven because I knew I was going home and it was free. I'm like, that's a waste of money.
There's your deeper systemic sentence. Don't waste. Don't waste money. If you waste money, we will not have money. So that was the second sentence. Mm-hmm. The first one is don't waste money. And then if you look back at where that came from, there would have been an event or a global event that went, there isn't money. There is no money. Everybody hold on to your money. Watch out what you're doing because there is no money. Don't waste. So your bottom line is actually, we don't waste. If there's money coming out of the faucet, I'm plenty good with that. I do not need to go and buy a 7-Eleven thing. And then I will tell myself, because there are microplastics and it was extra money I didn't need to spend, and I've got to throw that away. Yeah.
So That's really fascinating, because I also remember my dad always saying, if it was up to mommy, we wouldn't have anything, because she spend and he would save. And then I ended up in a relationship where Kevin spends and I save, and I had to deprive myself a lot to balance out. Now, it's not like he was buying Bentleys and stuff, but to me, he was overspending in a sense, right?
Right.
And any spending was going to feel reckless to me probably. But I mean, now he admits he's been a little bit overboard, but that's just
So
a
you
different
took
story.
on dad's.
Yeah.
You took on dad's. He took on mom's. Oh, good. And the two made a perfect marriage that you understood very, very well.
Yes.
Because you're the one who's going to save it. And you're going to keep saying, we don't have money, we don't have money, we don't have money. Because hopefully that's going to stop him from spending all the darn money, so you won't have money.
Judy, if you were in the meetings with my business managers over the years, that's exactly how it's gone. I'm like, we don't have any money. We don't have any. And I would create the scenario in a sense to make him think that, so that he would stop spending.
There you go. Yes, we've got to be in loyalty with dad. Oh yeah.
Wow. So I recreated the same family dynamic. I inherited that family DNA. So it's not that like that belief will block you from having money.
Well, it can eventually, because and here's why. And it's interesting to understand. It's an old pattern. Patterns are wonderful. They're usually an antidote for something that's happened. So something has happened. Here's how we can fix that. The problem is, if you keep doing that, it becomes useless, and then it becomes a problem. And now it becomes a problem of you saying we have no money, and Kevin going, what are you talking about? Well, we have no money. Now you've got to find a new sentence that really fits. Once upon a time, we had no money. Then we really did have money, but we were careful with money. Now we're careful with money, and we do have money. So you're able to bridge yourself over to that. And then the next thing is, so being careful with the money we have, how do we want to spend that? What is yours and what is mine? And then you have to have an agreement, Maria, that you will spend some, because otherwise you're going to grow up a little girl, and she's going to, and I will tell you, my daughter, by the way, is adopted. So you would think she wouldn't inherit it, forget it, because you've got nurture versus nature, which is hanging in there. And so you've got to teach her, we have money. Mm-hmm. And we're very good with our money. Ooh. Some get saved and some get spent. So we have this that gets saved so that we always have money, but this is our playing. We're allowed to play here. We're allowed to spend this, because money can also bring joy. We can interact and partner with money to bring great joy. And that's how you start to heal that old sentence that worked over here but is no longer relevant here, because otherwise money can't grow with you.
Wow. I love redefining your relationship with money, because what did help, and it was between you and then I think even I did some somatic therapy around this, that was them. That was not me. That was their scenario. That was them.
That belongs to you, mom and dad, not me.
Yes.
I have very loyally held it in my body. Now I've got to put it down with you, because I have to be the one to change the money DNA. I have a child, and she needs to know what to do with that money DNA. So I've got to teach really, really well how I want it to be a happy space for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also remember at some point, I was so kind of just, I didn't want to work anymore. And Kevin was like, it's because you're not spending any money. You don't feel the value of what you're doing. So then he's like, you're going shopping. And he took me shopping, and I bought all this stuff that I would never spend money on. And then from there, I got better. I've gotten better. When I want something, I buy something, even when it's like, oh no, I would never buy this. Because I'll go out and I'll buy everyone else for Christmas. I'll go and buy them all fancy things. And then there'll be something I want. And I'm like, nope. You're already spending so much right now. And then finally I was like, no, you know what? I'm buying that for myself too. I'm buying myself a Christmas gift, because it always works out. And that was my new line. It always works out. And part of it, I do believe sometimes people are sent to teach you. So I think that Kevin being fearless, now maybe it was a little too far, and that's where he's at now, trying to figure out his, boundary there. him being fearless and it always working out, I finally had to look at it and say, well, it always is working out. So that was my new line. It was like, it always works out. I'm fine. Money always comes. And you also taught me to say money is always flowing. Like it's got to flow in and out.
Money is always flowing. Yeah. And also for you, when you start to get yourself skittish, there is a place that you can go to. I want that thing. I really want that thing. And if I'm really skittish, what else can I invest in? Because then it means I'm actually parking some that's growing and I'm going to have that. This is not reckless. And I've done something that's responsible. So you can actually buddy yourself through that.
I love that. Hey, Heal Squad, we have been on quite the journey together, and we're hearing from so many of you just how much this show is helping you heal and get better, and it makes us feel so good. We love, love, love it, and we just ask that you don't keep it to yourself. Spread the message and share the show or your favorite episode with your friends. And if you want to help us even more, you can leave us a 5-star rating and a comment on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and follow us on Instagram at Heal Squad. You can also DM us anytime because we love connecting with you. And finally, you can also join us on Patreon for our monthly live heal events with world-class healers and ad-free episodes exclusive only to Patreon and our Super Heal Squad for as little as $10 a month. So go to patreon.com/Heal Squad to join. Getting better isn't easy, friends, but as I say all the time, it's a whole lot easier if we can do it together. We love you all so much, and we love doing this thing called life with you.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or MariaMenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.